My name is Ethan Blake, a 26-year-old graphic designer living in a cramped but cozy apartment in downtown Chicago. To anyone who knows me, I'm just another quiet, slightly nerdy guy who spends too much time on his computer and not enough time in the real world. But that's only half the truth. There's another side of me, one I've never dared to share. A side that surfaces only when the world is asleep. It started small, borrowing one of my girlfriend Emma's scarves one night while she was away visiting her parents. It smelled faintly of her perfume, soft, floral, intoxicating. That night, I looked at myself in the mirror and saw someone different, someone freer. Emma and I had been together for 3 years. She was ambitious, clever, and beautiful, everything I admired and sometimes envied. We met in college, where I designed her student campaign posters. She loved my creativity, but she never knew how deep that creativity went. I always told myself that my secret, the quiet urge to explore femininity, was harmless. Just curiosity. Just imagination. But lately, that curiosity had turned into something else. I found myself scrolling through online shops late at night, heart pounding as I hovered over the add to cart button for things I knew I shouldn't buy. Sheer stockings, satin slips, lip gloss in muted pink tones. Each time, I'd close the tab, ashamed but unable to stop thinking about it. Emma worked long hours as a marketing executive, often coming home late. Tonight was one of those nights. The apartment was silent except for the faint hum of my computer. Rain tapped gently against the windows, making the city lights blur like watercolor. That's when I saw it, Emma's new outfit hanging on the back of our bedroom door. It was a silky black dress she had worn last week to her company party. I remembered watching her slip it on that night, the fabric hugging her curves, the way she adjusted the straps and smiled at her reflection. I'd told her she looked stunning, and she did. But now, as I looked at that dress again, something stirred inside me. A quiet voice whispered, "What would it feel like? Just once?" I walked closer, fingertips brushing the cool fabric. My reflection in the mirror caught my eye, the same dark hair, the same tired face from too many late nights. But beneath that reflection was something restless, aching to step forward. I told myself I'd just hold the dress, just feel the texture. But as I lifted it from the hanger, a shiver ran down my spine. My heart pounded, half with fear, half with something else, something I didn't have words for. "Ethan," I muttered under my breath, "this is insane. Don't do this." But the apartment was silent, and temptation was louder than reason. I placed the dress on the bed, hands trembling slightly. The clock ticked softly. I had time. Emma wouldn't be home for hours. Just one night, I thought. Just to see. As I turned toward the wardrobe mirror, my pulse raced. That's when I caught a glimpse of my reflection again, and realized this wasn't about pretending to be someone else. It was about finally letting a part of myself breathe. Still, guilt gnawed at me. Emma was kind, trusting. She'd never understand. If she ever found out, what would she think? Would she laugh? Leave? I sighed, brushing the fabric again, torn between fear and fascination. My phone buzzed suddenly. I jumped, grabbing it off the nightstand. It was a text from Emma. "Hey love, might have to work late again. Don't wait up." A nervous smile crept across my face. Fate was giving me a window, and I knew I was going to step through it. I set the phone down and stared at the dress once more. My reflection stared back, hesitant, uncertain, but curious. One night, I whispered to myself. One night of dress up. Then it's over. I had no idea how wrong I was. Because that single night, the choices I'd make, the way I'd feel, would change everything. The apartment felt different now. Quieter. As if the walls themselves were holding their breath, waiting for me to make my next move. I stood beside the bed, staring at Emma's dress. My hands trembled as I touched the silky fabric again. It felt impossibly smooth, alive somehow. For a moment, I just let my fingers glide across it, tracing the seams, imagining what it would feel like against my skin. My rational mind screamed to stop. But another voice, softer, deeper, and far more persuasive, whispered. You've always wanted to know. Before I could overthink it, I undressed. The air felt colder on my bare skin, but when I slid the black dress over my head, it was like stepping into another world. The silk clung to my body, the straps falling perfectly against my shoulders. It didn't fit perfectly. Emma was a little smaller than me, but somehow that made it more thrilling. My breath hitched as I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't look like me anymore. The face staring back was unfamiliar, still Ethan, but softer. The way the dress curved around my body made my shape seem different, my posture shift, my eyes widened slightly. My heart thudded. Oh my God. I turned, watching how the light caught the fabric. The reflection was hypnotic. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was pretending. I felt complete. Still, something was missing. On the dresser sat Emma's makeup bag. My pulse raced as I reached for it, hands shaking as I unzipped it. The scent of foundation and powder filled the air. I'd seen her do her makeup countless times, but now I was the one holding the brush. I dabbed on foundation. Awkwardly at first, then smoothed it out, trying to remember her motions. A bit of blush, mascara, and then the lipstick. Soft pink. Innocent, yet daring. The color lit up my face. When I looked back at the mirror, I froze. I didn't see Ethan anymore. I saw someone else. Someone gentler, curious, and undeniably feminine. My heart raced, so fast it hurt. I smiled tentatively, then giggled nervously, shocked at how light the sound was. This is crazy, I whispered, touching the edge of my lips. What am I doing? But instead of guilt, a strange sense of peace washed over me. For the first time in years, I wasn't hiding from myself. I was meeting myself. I turned to the wardrobe again. Something was missing. I remembered Emma's stockings. She always kept them in the second drawer. When I opened it, I saw them. Delicate sheer black stockings, still folded neatly. My fingers trembled as I picked them up. They felt impossibly soft. Sitting on the bed, I rolled them slowly up my legs. The sensation made my skin prickle, the nylon hugging my calves and thighs with a whispering sound. I couldn't stop breathing heavily. Part fear, part awe. By the time I stood, the mirror reflected a stranger who looked confident, graceful, almost beautiful. I stared at her. At me. The sound of rain outside had softened. A siren wailed somewhere far away. The world felt distant. I turned on my heels, testing how it felt to walk in Emma's kitten heels, only a few inches high, but still enough to make my balance shift. I wobbled, catching myself on the dresser, then laughed. It felt dangerous and exhilarating. For the next hour, I moved around the apartment like someone possessed. I tried different lipsticks, played with Emma's jewelry, even slipped into her cardigan. Every movement made me feel lighter, freer. I danced, actually danced, to a slow pop song playing from my phone. My reflection spun with me, the hem of the dress flaring, stockings glinting under the lamplight. For a fleeting moment, I wasn't Ethan hiding from shame. I was her, whoever she was. But then the clock ticked. 10:47 p.m. Emma's text had said she might work late, but what if she finished early? What if she came home now? Panic jolted through me. I rushed to the window, peering down at the street. No sign of her car. My pulse slowed, but just barely. My heart still hammered as I turned back toward the mirror. I should change back. Wash the makeup off. Hide everything. But the mirror pulled me in again. The way I looked, the curve of the neckline, the shimmer of lipstick, it was addictive. Like standing on the edge of a secret cliff and wanting to jump. Just then, a sound. A faint click from the hallway. My heart stopped. Footsteps. No. It couldn't be. The door handle rattled. I froze, every nerve in my body screaming. My reflection stared back in terror. The front door opened. Ethan? Emma's voice called out. My blood ran cold. She wasn't supposed to be home. I stumbled backward, nearly tripping over the edge of the rug. My mind raced. What could I do? Hide? Run? I grabbed the hem of the dress, trying to pull it off, but it snagged on my shoulder. My fingers fumbled with the straps. My lipstick-smeared reflection stared at me in horror. "Ethan? Are you here?" Her voice was closer now. The soft clack of her heels echoed down the hall. My pulse thundered in my ears. I looked around desperately for somewhere to hide, but there was nowhere. The only thing I could do was freeze. Then the bedroom door handle turned. The door creaked open, and Emma stepped inside. Emma stood frozen in the doorway. Her umbrella dripped rain onto the floor. Her eyes, wide and disbelieving, traveled slowly up and down my body, from the black heels to the hem of her dress, then to the trembling, lipstick-smeared face that used to be her boyfriend. For a long, unbearable second, there was silence. Then, "Ethan," she whispered. Her voice cracked. I couldn't breathe. My mouth opened, but no words came out. My hands clutched the edge of the dresser, like I was holding on for dear life. "Emma, I can explain," but the look on her face stopped me cold. It wasn't anger. It was confusion. Shock. Maybe even hurt. "Why are you wearing my dress?" she finally asked, her tone soft but trembling. I looked at her reflection in the mirror instead of her face. It was stupid. I was just playing dress up," she interrupted, stepping further into the room. Her voice was steady now. Too steady. I took a step back. "Emma, please, I didn't mean for you to." "You didn't mean for me to what?" "Find out," she asked sharply. Her tone sliced through me like glass. The room suddenly felt smaller, the air heavier. I don't know. I wanted to see how it felt." Her brow furrowed. How it felt? I couldn't answer. The words died in my throat. My reflection in the mirror looked pathetic, lipstick smudged, wig slightly crooked, stockings shimmering under the lamp. Emma stared at me for what felt like an eternity, then sighed and closed the door behind her. The click of the lock echoed. "I can't believe this," she murmured, sitting on the edge of the bed. "How long, Ethan?" "It's not what you think," I said weakly. "Then tell me what it is," she said, looking up with eyes that were both wounded and curious. I hesitated. My heart pounded in my ears. It was just one night. I wanted to know what it felt like to be someone else. Her expression softened slightly. "Someone else?" I nodded. "I've been stressed and I don't know. I just needed an escape. I didn't mean to disrespect you." She studied me in silence. The rain outside grew heavier, tapping against the window like impatient fingers. Finally, she stood and walked closer. Every step made my pulse quicken. She stopped in front of me, so close I could feel her breath. "You wanted to escape by being me?" Her words were half whisper, half accusation. "I didn't mean it like that," I said quickly. "It was just curiosity." "Curiosity," she repeated. "Then why the makeup? The heels? The stockings?" I swallowed hard. I don't know, it just felt right. For the first time, I said the truth out loud, and it hung in the air like electricity. Emma blinked, visibly processing it. "Felt right," she repeated quietly. I nodded, tears starting to form. I didn't expect it, but when I looked in the mirror, I felt calm, like everything made sense for a second. She exhaled slowly. "You should have told me." I was scared. Scared of me? No. Scared of what you'd think of me. Silence. Then she surprised me. She reached out, her fingers brushing a strand of the wig away from my cheek. "You actually look kind of beautiful," she said softly. My breath caught. "You're not mad." "I'm confused," she admitted, a faint smile flickering. "And maybe a little jealous." "Jealous?" She smirked. "You pull off that lipstick better than I do." For a moment, we both laughed nervously. The tension eased just a little, but then her expression shifted. Something darker flickered in her eyes. "You said this was just one night," she said quietly. "But are you sure about that?" I froze. "What do you mean?" She took a step closer. "You said it felt right. You looked peaceful. I've never seen you like that, Ethan. Maybe you've been hiding this for longer than you realize." "I haven't," I protested, too quickly. Her smirk deepened. "You sure? Because it doesn't look like your first time." "I swear." "Then prove it," she said, voice suddenly sharp. My heart skipped. Prove what? That you can stop. Her eyes locked onto mine, challenging. Take off the dress. I hesitated. Something inside me twisted. Shame and longing tangled together. Emma, please. She folded her arms.
Take it
Off. The air grew heavier. My hands shook as I reached for the zipper. The sound of it sliding down filled the silence. The dress loosened around my shoulders.
But then she stopped me.
Wait. Her voice softened. I didn't mean it like that. She looked at me differently now, like she saw the war inside me. I need to understand this. All of it. She sat on the bed again. Show me. What? Show me who you are when you wear it, she said quietly. Don't hide it. Just show me. Her tone wasn't mocking anymore. It was tender, curious. I hesitated, but then something inside me broke open. I turned to the mirror again, straightened my posture, smoothed the fabric, and lifted my chin. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was wearing a costume. I felt alive. The person in the reflection smiled back, confident, graceful, free. Emma watched silently, her expression unreadable. When I finally turned back to her, she said softly, I don't think this is just dress up anymore. The room went quiet again. I don't know, I whispered. Maybe it isn't. She stood and took my hand. Then maybe we should find out together. Before I could respond, a loud knock echoed through the apartment. We both froze. Emma frowned. Who could that be at this hour? Another knock, louder this time. Ethan? A familiar voice called from the other side of the door. It was Mark, my best friend, and the last person who should ever see me like this. My blood turned to ice. Emma's eyes widened in panic. Don't move, she whispered. But the knocking grew more insistent. Ethan, you there? I saw your lights on. I turned to the mirror. The dress, the wig, the lipstick. It was too late to change. Emma hissed. He's going to come in? The doorknob rattled violently. Ethan? And then, the sound of keys jingling. Mark had a spare key. The lock clicked. Emma grabbed my hand, her voice barely a whisper. You have 5 seconds to decide, hide or face him. My heart thundered as the door began to open.